The candle flickers. The tent is cold. And Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the known world, faces the same question we all face every morning. Why get up? He writes, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I must go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I am going to do what I was born to do?" Marcus's battle wasn't against enemies. It was against inertia. He reminds himself that every living thing wakes and works. The bee, the bird, the ant, all serve their purpose without complaint. So he writes again, "Was I made for lying warm in bed, or for acting and working?" And this is the Stoic challenge to us. You were not born for comfort. You were born for character. The emperor's morning reflection is our modern wake-up call. The day is not your enemy. Your own excuses are. Marcus writes, "I arise to do the work of a man, to serve the common good." For him, every day was not about achievement, but about service. He saw himself not as a ruler, but as a servant of nature's order, part of a vast, interdependent web of people, duty, and fate. Marcus reminds us, we were born to work together, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of teeth. The Stoic does not work for applause or reward. He works because it is right. In a world obsessed with personal gain, Marcus calls us back to purpose through service. He says, "What is your profession?" To be good, true success, he reminds us, is not in the size of your achievements, but in the sincerity of your actions. Marcus knew the weight of exhaustion, the endless pressure of leadership, responsibility, and moral duty. He writes, "You may tire of acting and speaking according to reason, but you will not tire of doing so if you remember that it is for the good of mankind." The Stoic doesn't deny fatigue. He redirects it. You don't need motivation every day. You need meaning. Marcus understood that weariness fades, but duty endures. When your mind says, "I can't," the Stoic whispers, "You must," because it matters. No random actions, he says, none not based on principle. People who love what they do wear themselves out less because they love it. One of the sharpest lessons in Book 5 is this: be careful not to be carried away by imagination. Everything is opinion. Most suffering, he says, is not caused by the world, but by how we think about the world. Not because of the words, but because of the story you tell yourself about them. The Stoic learns to pause between stimulus and response. When something happens, a failure, an insult, a delay, Marcus would remind himself, it was meant to happen this way. It cannot harm my soul unless I let it. This is what modern psychology calls cognitive reframing, seeing events not as threats, but as neutral facts waiting for your interpretation. You can't control everything, but you can control the story you tell yourself. Marcus says, do every act as if it were your last, with dignity, strength, and calm. He doesn't mean live recklessly, he means live deliberately, so that every small act reflects your highest self. The Stoic seeks flow, not chaos, an inner rhythm between purpose and peace. When you wash dishes, write an email, or train at the gym, do it with presence. Let each thing you do, Marcus writes, contribute to the perfection of your own nature. Book 5 is about bringing philosophy into motion, turning every act into meditation. Book 5 of the Meditations is a battle manual for the will, the strength to rise, the courage to act, and the grace to persist. Marcus Aurelius teaches us: 1. Rise for duty, not comfort. 2. Serve the whole. Every act is part of nature's work. 3. Find meaning in fatigue. 4. Control your judgments. The mind shapes reality. 5. Do every act with presence and virtue. The Stoic life is not glamorous. It's repetitive, quiet, hard. but it's also sacred. Because every time you rise when you could rest, every time you act when you could escape, every time you choose principle over pleasure, you walk the same path as an emperor. When you wake, remember, you were born to rise, you were born to act, you were born to serve. Marcus Aurelius, Book 5.